Hey everyone, it's Shalise. So today we're going to make a Norwegian holiday gnome. So I made up my own pattern. You're gonna need your body, you're gonna need the bottom, and a hat as well. I think I made my body about 2.5 inches wide. If you want to use mine and make it the same size, you can go ahead and use the PDF download that I've included. So cut 2 of your body. I'm using kind of a thicker double knit. Cut 1 of your bottom, and then you're gonna cut 1 piece of your hat. I'm using a sock. I cut off the toe and then I cut down the heel so that you can lay it out flat. I chose to use the raw edge of my sock, so that means I'm just gonna have to hem it up later, and that's okay. You can also use an old sweater if you want to. So I'm pinning up about 1/4 inch of the bottom of my hat, and then I'm gonna go ahead and pin the sides of my body together. Take that to your sewing machine and sew that up. I'm using about 1/4 inch seam allowance. And with your hat, go ahead and stretch this part out a little bit as you're sewing it. It's totally okay if it gets a little stretched. You'll need to be able to kind of manipulate that portion. And then pin up the sides and sew that. Now this part is a little tricky, but like I said, if you're using a little bit of a stretchy fabric, then it's a little bit easier. You're gonna pin the bottom to your body. And again, you're using 1/4 inch seam allowances here. Go slow. It's okay if it's not perfect. And I'm gonna cut about 1/8 inch of this excess seam allowance off so it's not bulky when I turn it right side out. And I'm adding about 2 tablespoons of rice just to add some weight. And then just stuff it as much as you want with your stuffing. You can make them super fat or super skinny. And you can make it as tall or as short as you want. I left a little bit of the sides open just so it was easier to stuff. And here I'm using 1/8 inch elastic to tie that. And then I cut off whatever was left. So here's your nose. I'm just using some nude lining fabric, and I'm tying it again with 1/8 inch elastic. And you kind of have to pull it tight and manipulate it and kind of make it into the shape you want, and cut off your extra fabric there. Then use your hot glue to just glue that sucker on. So now you're gonna make your beard. Turn it so that the wrong side is up, and I'm using just a little X-Acto knife to cut this out, and I'm trying to not cut through all that beard hair. And then make a little notch for your nose, and then again use your hot glue to glue it on. Now we got to do our hat. So I'm going to trim off the extra, especially up at that point. It's a little hard to turn that right side out, so use tweezers or a pencil or anything you need to get that point to be as pointy as you can. And I'm going to stuff it again with batting. Now with some of the gnomes you've seen, they included a long piece of wire, and you could do that if you wanted to. And that's so that you can kind of bend the hat down and make it look a little crooked. I chose not to do that, but you can certainly do that if you want to. When you get to the end of your hat, use your thumbs to kind of create a crater, and that's where that little top of your gnome body is going to stick in. As I made quite a few of these, I realized that it's a little cuter if the if the hat kind of comes down over the top of the nose a little bit. So that's where it's easy if the hat is stretchy, because then you can kind of manipulate that down over the top of your nose. Just glue it all the way around, and then you're done.